So good afternoon, everyone. Monique, thank you for that kind introduction, and it's really great to be here today to talk about opportunity and youth. So this past summer, 2.6 million young people wanted a job but couldn't get one. An 11.5% unemployment rate for 16 to 24-year-olds, more than twice the national average. In the 47-year history of Gap Inc., we conservatively guesstimate that we've given over 1 million young people their very first job. So we actually think we have a competence in teaching young people about the world of work. And what we did was we took that competence and we turned it into a program, and that program is This Way Ahead. So today we have the pleasure of hearing from one of the graduates of This Way Ahead, and his name is Darius Case. And Darius, why don't you come on out and join us?
Hi, everyone.
So Darius graduated from the program last year in 2015, and he's currently a sales associate at a BR factory store. And I understand, Darius, that you are a sales associate that often gets asked for by name. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am 17 years old. I'm an only child. I was raised by a single mother. You know, I was born and raised in Harlem, Harlem, in the projects of Harlem. You know, it's sad because it's one of the worst projects on the West Side, but we do the best we can, really. And despite all of that, the culture of Harlem is really rich, and it's something that I really love and I'm happy to be a part of. Otherwise, I'm just a teenager, you know. I love sneakers, I love to dance, and I guess I just try to maintain a positive outlook on life.
That's great, that's great. So thanks for sharing a little bit about yourself with the audience. So this program, This Way Ahead, it's really based on having high expectations of young people. And what we wanted to do was to create a program that really was reflecting the real world. And so we made sure that we set high expectations, but we also provided support. In addition to expecting a lot from these young people, we also didn't give every young person a job that went through the initial training, because the real world doesn't work that way. In addition to that, in the way the real world works, we made sure that we paid these young people for their onboarding training as well as for the internships, and they earned at a minimum a $10 per hour minimum wage. So Darius, you were 16 when you started this program, and you were with the nonprofit partner, The Door. Tell us why you were interested in getting a job.
I was typically concerned with getting a job because I got tired of seeing my mom struggle financially to meet my needs. It's just me and her, really. She's legally blind and we live on SSI. That's really how we get by. And she makes pastelillos. You know, if you're Puerto Rican, you know what pastelillos are, and they're, you know, Spanish meat patties to make an extra income. But we still struggle, unfortunately. So when I was younger, I remember I had a pair of glasses that didn't fit my face for the longest time. They were too small, and I wanted to be able to hold myself responsible financially so that my mom can focus on things like paying the rent. That's all I really wanted, you know. I wanted to be able to get the little things that make life easier, you know, a working phone, a pair of glasses that actually fit my face.
You also told me when we were talking before that you love fashion.
Right, I do love fashion. That's one of the other reasons why I wanted to start with This Way Ahead and get into retail. What better place to be than Gap Inc. working with great fashion, and I think that all stems from when I was younger. I think in the 7th grade, that's when I realized you can change completely who you are through fashion and through the things that you wear, and that's something that I've always loved. So having the chance to work at Gap Inc. was a great opportunity for me.
So tell me what it was like to get your first paycheck.
My first paycheck, it was very exciting. I was very happy, you know. I remember it was exactly $80. And it was the payment that we got from doing orientation, 8 hours of orientation, you know. every day we did like 2 hours, 3 hours, but it was great. I shared $20 with my mom because I was like, she was like, don't even give me anything, it's only $8. And I was like, Mom, just take it. Hopefully there's more where that comes from. And for sure it was. And I love earning my own money, really. I love having the responsibility. I sometimes may buy too many sneakers. I have a sneaker addiction, but I just love taking responsibility for myself.
That's great. And your mom is here today, right?
Yeah, she's right there in the front.
We all know she's very proud of you.
Yeah.
Very proud of you. So I know your manager, Jamal, played a huge role in your success and engagement in this program. Can you share a little bit about why that was the case? And I think he's here today too.
Jamal's also in the audience today. Jamal, I think he's had a huge impact on me because I didn't grow up having, a full male figure in my life. Jamal was always great at giving advice. I'm getting emotional.
That's okay.
Jamal, he was great at giving advice, and he doesn't always expect me to act like an adult. No, he still knows I'm young. And although he has these great expectations for me in terms of work and customer service, I think that he's still very mindful of my age and my priorities as well. He still cares about my priorities and making sure that that I'm not only good in the workplace, but I'm also good in school, whatever extracurricular activities I have. And I just really overall love my team. I love my general manager, I love all the managers, I love the associates. They're like my family, really. It's such a small store, it's like my second home.
So that's great, and I love that you shared your emotion with that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about skills. So in some cases with these young people, they might have some technical skill that gets them a job, but it's the life skills that actually help them keep the job. And if we all remember back to our first job experience, we probably don't remember many of the technical things that we had to know to do the job, but I bet you carried something forward from a life skill standpoint that stuck with you. I know my first job, I delivered newspapers and I had to get up at 5 a.m. every morning to do it. And one of the things that it taught me very early on was that I had to be responsible because people were counting on me. They wanted to have their breakfast and their paper. So Darius, from this program, what's something unexpected that you didn't think you were going to learn from this way ahead?
So I think similar to what you've learned when you were younger, with responsibility and waking up in the morning is such a huge commitment. I know all of us have woken up in the morning and been like, I don't want to do this, but something I wasn't expecting from the program is, the time management was so strict. Just as an example, I remember I went into This Way Ahead, I think 2 or 3 minutes late. I'm a teenager, easy breezy, it's whatever. I'm used to being late. I'm used to getting away with it, it's whatever. But our facilitator, Matt, I remember Matt, he told me to step outside. And I was like, why? He was like, you're late, step outside. I was like, wow, this is serious. So, yeah, he got me to understand that if you don't take your commitment seriously, no one was going to take you serious. And from that day on, I always took that with me.
That's cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how this experience maybe changed some of the relationships you have in the community. Do you feel like people in your community are cheering you on?
I definitely think that my mother and my family are cheering me on, my colleagues as well. But, unfortunately, in my neighborhood, most kids give up on their big dreams.
Is there do you see a cycle that's happening in your neighborhood when they give up on their dreams?
Definitely. I think when we grow up in the projects, really, you tend to think there's no way out. And unfortunately, you see people sell drugs, they go to jail. If they're lucky, they get to come back, and they have kids, and the cycle really continues. So I've always tried to steer away from that cycle and create my own path.
So do you think things would have been different for you if you didn't go into this program?
Yeah, I think if I didn't go into this program, I would have been making the same bad mistakes I see people make daily in my neighborhood, to make extra money.
And what would you like your legacy to be?
My legacy, I think I would like to be the kid that makes it out, I want to be one of the kids that make it. I really want to be that staple for my community to encourage others to do the same, because if I can do it, maybe someday kids would say, hey, if Darius can do it, I can do it too. So
that's very much in the spirit of the nation we make, right?
Right.
So here's my last question for you. How can we help?
I think one way you can help is just, I think that young people need opportunities just as much as adults do. I have coworkers who are paying rent, electricity, and sometimes close for their family. And they're the same age as me, so seeing that, I always understood that young people go through the same struggle that some adults may have. So overall, we just need more opportunity for young people, and we need more jobs for young people. And it's just so hard to get a job at 16 years old.
Well, thank you so much, Darius, for sharing. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Darius for sharing his story with all of us. And tell them to cut the music. Okay, so we got a little bit of early music here, because I actually have one last thing to say before the two of us scoot off the stage. And Darius' story was an important story to tell, but we want to hear many more of these stories across our country. We are the nation we make. And to help in this effort, Gap Inc. is making an announcement today. We are pledging that by 2020, 10,000 young people will go through This Way Ahead on our pathway to having 5% of our entry-level store employees come from this program. So you heard it here first. Through this effort, we believe that thousands of young people are going to develop valuable skills that are going to help them do better in the world of work and also in life. We believe that programs like This Way Ahead, they're not just the right thing to do, they're the smart thing to do. And I think successful employees and young people like Darius are the proof of that.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.